Well, on this episode of Nation Wants to Know, there is someone with me here in the studio. I can easily say one of my favorite people, and I like him for multiple reasons. One, of course, huge fan of his. His voice, the depth in his voice, the soul in his voice, and the fun in his voice. I've grown up with this man's voice for 20 years now. Second reason is because if there is someone who I am so proud to call a fellow Indian, it is this person. And thirdly, because he defines transformation for me. Everything in his life has changed. He has changed. He looks different, sounds the same. His life has turned around. He's been to the depths and then he's gone right up there back again. I'd like to welcome Adnan Sami. Adnan, thank you so much. I have been looking forward to this, my friend.
Same here. Same here.
Welcome to the Nation Wants to Know.
Thank you very much.
First of all, relax. You're not a politician. We're good.
Thank God for that.
I've given politicians a break from the program for a while these days. I've given politicians a break, and I'm meeting some of my favorite people from the arts, music, Bollywood.
It's wonderful to be here, and this is looking beautiful.
Thank you, Adnan. Thank you. Big congratulations on becoming a father.
Thank you so much. I'll say this, that my daughter, Madina is her name.
Yes.
Up until now, I had always sort of heard people say that, कि बेटी और बाप का जो रिश्ता है, वो बहुत अनमोल है. So I used to sort of turn around and I used to say कि हाँ, होता होगा. लेकिन ऐसे भी क्या बात है? And then suddenly, I was confronted with this beautiful, beautiful little baby girl. And it changed my entire life and my whole perspective. And I've gone nuts. I've gone crazy. The only way that you can understand what this is all about is if you experience it yourself. And she's the first daughter in our family. So, girl, child, and I just cannot even describe to you how beautiful it feels. It's amazing.
Everything's changing, right? You're coming out with your film.
Yes.
That's your first film as an actor.
Yes.
Is it your first film as an actor?
Well, it's my first film over here as an actor, and it's my first Bollywood film. I'm still trying to get used to my beard, which is part of the the look and the long hair.
Yes.
But it's all part of the look. But I'm very excited because it's a film which is very close to my heart. It's about an Afghan musician who he's living in Afghanistan, and he gets, it's a present day film, he gets harassed by the Taliban for being a musician and for singing. They're prepared to have him say the azan because they love his voice, but the moment he sings a song, it becomes haram. And therefore he doesn't give in. They end up destroying his family, his life over there, and he runs from there as a refugee, and he is taken over in India, and he is embraced by India, and India falls in love with him, and he finds love in all kinds of ways. And then he rebuilds his life again.
It's like your own story.
Somewhere there is a connection. Yeah.
When you became an Indian citizen, the angry responses from Pakistan,
yes,
and some cynical responses here in India as well.
Right.
What made you make that decision?
Well, Arnab, when I came to India in 1999 to start my chapter of my Indian career and my life over here, I was so overwhelmed by the love and the way the Indian public embraced me that I found my home. I found my missing link here. And so when I wanted to, I kept living here, and I was not one of those kind of artists who sort of kept one leg here and the other leg somewhere else. I came with everything and I came and settled down here. And I pretty much felt that this was my calling. I felt that this was the place where I wanted to spend the rest of my life. I fell in love with it. And so for me, I discussed it with my father.
Had you lived a lot in Pakistan before that?
No. I grew up mostly...
So you didn't identify with Pakistan?
Not in that sense, no. But my father was from Pakistan. Actually, he was from Afghanistan. And we come from King Amanullah Khan's family. And my grandfather was the governor of 4 provinces over there, and during Amanullah Khan's reign. And then when trouble took place over there, the revolution happened, the family escaped and came to Peshawar. And my grandfather remained over there, and he got assassinated. And then they grew up in Peshawar. Peshawar was always considered to be part of Afghanistan, you know. But then after that, we went abroad, and then I grew up abroad. I mean, when I say we, I mean I wasn't even born when all this happened.
How much of your family is in Pakistan now?
My mother's there, my brother's there.
You spoke to them?
Yes, I speak to them.
After you became an Indian citizen?
Yes, yes.
What did they say?
They said, if that's what makes you happy, you must do what you have to do. And incidentally, my father, which a lot of people will be surprised to know, I discussed everything with my father before I even took any step. I'm the kind of a person who likes to seek his blessings from his elders on whatever step I want to take. So I asked him, I said, Baba, this is what I want to do. He said, listen, I've lived my life. If they've given you all this love, and if they love you, and if this is what you want, go ahead. It's your life.
Your father told you
My
that?
father told me this.
Before he passed away?
Before he passed away.
And then when you became an Indian citizen, the trolls got after you?
Yes. I don't understand that, you know, I mean, because...
Why did they get after you?
Well,
Because you're successful, or because you became an Indian citizen?
I think it was...
Or for both?
I think maybe for both, actually. I find it very strange, you know, because, you know, they
hurt the Pakistanis a bit.
Yes.
That they'd been rejected by Adnan Sami.
Yeah, well, you know, the point is that they need to understand, or anybody needs to understand, that every human being has the right to choose where they want to live, who they want to be, whom they want to associate with, and who they want to live with. It is your right. I make a bad song or a good song, you have the right to tell me that you like it, you don't like it. But if I decide to live in Timbuktu, that is my choice. You don't have a right to have an opinion about that, as far as I'm concerned.
Have you been to Pakistan after that?
I only went at the time when my father passed away in Mumbai. And so I went for the funeral over there. And then after that, I've not been there. The interesting thing about the trolls is that, you know, they said, you know, that you betrayed us.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I betray you? I mean, what is my relationship with you? My relationship with you is through my art, through my music. And
no, but you were also Pakistan.
No, but the point of the matter is that a very important factor is that how was I treated prior to my final decision of becoming an Indian?
How were you treated?
I applied for my passport to be renewed.
In Pakistan?
In Pakistan, in the embassy. And they refused to renew it. Which meant...
Why?
They refused to renew it because they knew that maybe I was planning my citizenship or whatever. So they said no.
You're saying Pakistan almost threw you out?
Yes.
Pakistan threw you out?
No, the point is that they asked me that are you planning to become an Indian citizen? I said I haven't, you know, I've made my application. They didn't refuse, they refused to renew my passport. And when I asked them that please renew my passport, I'm living here and I cannot live here without a visa, and for the visa I need to have a passport. They refused to do it. And then when I made a few phone calls, I found out that they were deliberately not renewing my passport because then I wouldn't have a passport to get a renewal of a visa, which meant that I would be deported back to Pakistan.
They wanted to forcibly take you back
Yes.
to Pakistan to do what with you?
I don't know.
To teach you a lesson?
Possibly.
For what?
I don't know.
For working and singing in India?
Yeah, possible.
That's so narrow-minded.
I don't see any other reason behind it. But
this is bizarre.
It is.
It's bizarre.
It's absolutely bizarre. In fact, the irony is that, or rather the hypocrisy in all of this is that,
it's so bitter. It's
it is
a bitter thing.
And also another very important thing, Arnab, is that, you would start trolling me and calling me a betrayer or calling me a ghaddar. Excuse me, I haven't taken anything from you. I haven't betrayed you. You, in turn, are electing people constantly who are looting you, who are betraying you, who have made you your exchequer go into the dumps.
Yes.
And you still keep electing them. After a few years, they get unceremoniously sacked, and then you bring them back again.
Yeah.
And they are not betrayers. I, who just walked with my luggage and came here, haven't asked you for anything, not taken anything from you, you're calling me a betrayer.
I'd say this to you, that in any country where you work, where you get love, appreciation like you got here, it's not a sense of loyalty, it's a sense of acceptance of the fact that I am loved here.
Exactly.
That's where I feel the other Pakistani stars, actors, artists failed. Because if you're upset with terrorism in Pakistan, you have to be upset with terrorism in India.
Yes.
You have to be the same. There are human beings everywhere, there are children everywhere, women everywhere who are being killed. Yet they didn't take a position. I'll tell you, Adnan, they tucked their tails between their legs and they flew back to Pakistan. I've not seen many of them since. Many of them have not come back. What do you think of them?
The thing is that, to be honest with you, it's really, it's all in front of you, Arnab. Whatever it is, it's there in front of you. It leaves little editorial to
I want to still
make.
hear it.
The point is that, as you rightly said, an attack on any human is an attack on humanity. And therefore, you cannot differentiate in injustice that if it happens in Pakistan, that thing is terrible. If it happens in India, it's acceptable. Or if it happens in Paris.
You spoke then as well.
Yes. The thing is that
the trolls got after you again.
Yes.
Some people said he's saying all this because he wants to prove his Indianness, because he's got an Indian passport.
Yeah, but then the thing is, they don't realize that if I've got the Indian passport, that I've got nothing else to prove then.
Have you ever been on the back foot through all of this?
No.
What do you like as a person? What gets you on the back foot?
Nothing. I've had so many incredible moments in my life, some great, some absolutely horrendous, that now I don't get fazed that easily. It takes a lot to faze me.
Now, if you were to meet, Adnan Sami, who sang Lift Karate, would you recognize that guy?
Well, physically, definitely not.
This is amazing. You did a video about this, apparently. About losing weight. Have you done a video on this?
Yeah,
you lost what, over 100 kilos?
I've lost 160 kilos.
160 kilos?
Yeah.
And you stayed there?
Yeah.
Which is the more amazing part?
Yeah, actually. The thing is that it was, today it's...
Why did you do it?
I needed to do it.
Medically?
Yeah, it was medical. A lot of people came up with all kinds of, reasons that they thought best, but the actual reason was plain and simple. It was medical. I had reached 230 kilos. And the doctors had basically given me the ultimatum that if you don't lose weight, we can give you no more than 6 months. And we were in London, and it was a very difficult moment when my father came. My father, incidentally, he suffered from cancer of the pancreas, and he fought it for 20 years,
wow.
Which is something which is very, very miraculous. And my father was sitting with me at the hospital, Cromwell, where...
Kab ki baat hai?
This is 2007 ki baat hai. And the doctors said to me, in front of him, they said that, Mr. Sami, if you don't lose weight, I wouldn't be surprised, considering your lifestyle, that your parents don't find you dead in a hotel room 6 months from now. That was a red flag
What was life like then?
It was, I mean,
You were in the fast lane,
yeah, I was very much in the fast lane.
performing every week.
Yes, I was doing touring all over the place, and I was, in fact, I remember walking out of there. I was more angry at the doctor for being so brutally honest in front of my father. My father walked out of there, and he said to me, he said, "Listen, I think we need to talk." And I tried to brush it under the carpet, and I said to him, I said, you know how doctors are, they're alarmists and so on and so forth. And he said, "Listen, let me tell you something. I have done everything that you've asked me. I've supported you through thick and thin. But I don't want anything from you. But don't make me bury you. No father should bury his own child. Don't make me do that." And that was a wake-up moment for me. And I said, "Okay, I promise I will do everything possible to lose the weight." And that was the day when I started to work towards it.
Look at you now. Look at you now.
Yeah, it's been
10 years.
Yeah, it's been a journey, Arnab. It's been incredible.
I said this at the start of this interview. You've been through so much, and must have done about 7 or 8 interviews with you till now. And occasionally we exchange text messages and speak. But I admire the way that you've been through this, because it must not have been easy. And I wish your father was here to see you here today, transformed with a child, family, success, and looking like Marlon Brando.
Wow, that's a compliment. Oh boy.
Because you're not a politician, I'll give you a compliment. आप नेता होते तो आपको मैं तो कुछ और ही ट्रीटमेंट दूँ. इसलिए मैं आजकल स्पा मोड में हूँ आजकल.
How sweet is that? That's
But
very,
he would
very
have been
kind.
so proud of you.
You know, I tell you one thing, that there are times when I have these conversations with him in my mind, and because he was my confidant, he was my mentor, he was my all, he was my other self. I mean, he used to many times turn around to me and say that, "You're gonna not like this." I said, "No, Dad, Baba, I love this." He said, "No, 2 years from now you will not like this." And I would say, "Oh, come on." He said, "Listen, I know you better than you know yourself." And sure enough, 2 years down the line, or 3 years, whatever, I would find that I've had a change of mindset. He knew me so well. And I know, for example, today, he would have been thrilled, he would have been happy. He would have been absolutely crazy about Medina, because he always wanted to have a daughter. And I've been blessed with a beautiful partner, my wife Roya, who has been through a lot with me and has been a pillar of strength. And she hasn't had the good fortune of meeting my father, but she talks about him as if she always knew him. And I also sometimes look at her when she's talking in her habits or whatever, and I sort of sometimes think that, my God, it's almost as if my father is remote controlling me through them. And but it's been a journey, and it's been a very tough one. But sometimes you need to go through a particular journey in order to be able to value what you have.
Yeah.
तेरी ऊंची शान है मौला, मेरी अर्जी मान ले मौला, तू है सब कुछ जानने वाला, मैं हूँ तेरा मानने वाला, मुझको भी तो लिफ्ट करा दे, थोड़ी सी तो लिफ्ट करा दे, कैसे कैसों को दिया है, ऐसे पैसों को दिया है, मुझको भी तो लिफ्ट करा दे, थोड़ी सी तो लिफ्ट करा दे.
What is this?
No, this was just when I was
Who came up with this?
I did.
What you came up with?
Yeah, no,
Somebody must have done it.
I swear.
There must have been Saroj Khan or somebody. I used to see your videos for a long time, and I used to think, what does a singer go through? And I have this fascination with singers and their experiences. And I asked this to A.R. Rahman in the last chat. We just spoke about some of his songs and what he went through. How much of it is made? How much of it is real? Can we go through some of your songs?
Yeah, sure.
I have a list of your 10 best songs.
Okay.
I want you to sing some of the songs.
Sure.
I will pick up 5.
All right.
And I want you to tell me what you went through.
Okay.
And of course, I want to start with your album Always Yours with Lift Kara De. Sensational song.
Right.
I think it was 99.
Yeah.
99,
Yes.
2000.
Yes, yes.
17 years have passed.
Wow. It seems like
And the roly-poly Adnan Sami bursts into the scene. Very roly-poly.
yeah, extremely. Yeah,
Very happily roly-poly.
yeah.
Huh? You're very happy.
Yeah, you know, I was
You were
never
never conscious about your weight.
conscious. I was never apologetic. I was right in your face. I mean, I was like, I'm fat, and deal with it, and I'm loving it. Whatever does it, you know. So I was never apologetic about
So
it.
tell me about this.
And
Lift Kara De, where was it shot? What was the song like? Thoda sa mujhe to suna
you
do.
know, yeah.
Thoda sa suna.
Oh yeah, sure.
I won't sing with you.
You're most welcome to join in.
That's one thing I will not do.
तेरी ऊंची शान मौला मेरी अर्जी मान ले मौला तू है सब कुछ जानने वाला मैं हूँ तेरा मानने वाला मुझको भी तो लिफ्ट करा दे थोड़ी सी तो लिफ्ट करा दे कैसे कैसों को दिया है ऐसे पैसों को दिया है मुझको भी तो लिफ्ट करा दे थोड़ी सी तो लिफ्ट करा दे
What is this? What is this?
No, this was just you know when I was
Who came up with this?
I did.
What you came up with?
Yeah,
You couldn't have.
no,
Somebody must have done
I
it.
swear.
No, there must
when
have been Saroj Khan or somebody.
no, actually, I was in the studio when I was recording this song, and I used to love to listen to this song when we were mixing it and all that, pretty loud. So now the engineer couldn't hear my voice. I used to constantly, when I would be listening to it, I would be saying,
Oh, the volume up.
volume
like
up.
This is for volume up.
This was for volume up.
Oh,
you know?
oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
so you know,
volume up kara de.
Yeah, volume up. So I used to constantly say to him that, bring up the volume, I want to hear it louder. So that's how the sort of step came in, you know? And I would just say, all right, put on the song and let's hear it loud, like that. And that's how that step came into existence. But the word or the phrase was actually I came up with that phrase when हमारी आम भाषा में या गुफ्तगू में we turned around and sometimes I might see you from a distance and I say, hey Arnab, how are you doing? And you suddenly walk away. I say, यार Arnab मिला था उसने लिफ्ट ही नहीं कराई मुझे.
Lift ही नहीं कराया.
You get my point? So it was like
And people can understand and empathize with it.
Yeah,
No?
so the
you're
point-
dumped, lift kara de.
Yeah, and so
you're cheated, lift kara de.
Exactly.
Haar gaye, lift kara de.
Exactly. So the whole concept was that you're talking to God in a
very normal way.
In a normal way. Because the point is that there are 2-3 modes of communicating with the Almighty. Yeah. One is the absolute, the very defined formal prayer. And then there are moments when you have your little conversations with God. And, it'd be really nice if I could have this beautiful setup, and make a studio out of it. Yeah, kuch kar de, please.
I know.
You have these conversations,
Normal conversation.
Normal conversation, and he's like your best friend. You confide in him, you talk to him, you sometimes fight with him also, you sometimes joke with him, and then sometimes you even complain to him, कैसे कैसों को दिया है?
कैसे कैसों को दिया? Fantastic. What a line. You wrote the lines. Who wrote the lines?
Yeah. So
you wrote the lines.
Yeah, I wrote these lines.
These were your lines.
Yeah. Because the point is that again
किसके बारे में सोचा था जब बोला कैसे कैसों को दिया?
You see the point.
कुछ honestly बताओ.
No, sometimes.
Tell me, किसके बारे? Who came to your mind?
Now, for example, there was a friend of mine. I remember there was a friend of mine when I was in boarding school in England, and he was a he was a loser. He was a loser, and he failed in so many of his classes and so on and so forth. And then I see him after about 15 years, and he's coming out of a Rolls Royce with this absolute model, gorgeous girl, and
Rolls Royce and a gorgeous girl.
He comes out of there, and I'm like, no. not him. You know what I'm saying? And so, you sort of say,
I know.
what did I miss here?
What did I miss?
कैसे को दिया है?
कैसे?
ऐसे मैं सबको दिया है?
What a song.
And this is something that a lot of people think about. Yeah, इसको दिया है. Or sometimes you have this guy who's like, in your opinion, he might be the ugliest thing on earth. Yeah. And he's got this absolute Cleopatra kind of a lady or whatever. It's like, him? Him? Are you crazy? So, but that's how people are.
But that song really sort of lifted you also. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think somewhere.
Which one? Which was the song which lifted you?
Actually, the thing was that my first song that was released was.
Actually, last time you had come one of my shows, they brought this piano also when you were playing.
Yeah.
I forget the song that you sang there for me. Was it Bhigi Bhigi Raaton Mein? No. Which was the one with a lot of piano?
I sang quite a few those days. In that particular
I'm trying to think. Kabhi to Nazar Mila.
Yeah. In fact, that was the first
Kabhi
song.
To Nazar Mila.
Yeah, Kabhi To Nazar.
Kabhi To Nazar Mila was also around the same time.
Yeah, first Kabhi To Nazar Mila happened, then Bhigi Bhigi Raaton Mein happened, and then Lift Kara De.
Oh, so Kabhi To Nazar Mila came first, is it?
Yes.
So it all happened around the 99, 2000, 2001, 2002?
Yeah, 2000, 2001 period.
Wow.
And
how did you deal with this? How did you deal with this? When success comes so all over the place.
I'll tell you something, Arnab. I was blessed, and I consider myself blessed even today, that I come from a family which has seen huge success. My father, he was ambassador to 14 countries. He was ADC to 3 presidents. He was chief of protocol to 5 presidents and 4 prime ministers. So he had seen power, fame, very closely. And so and then not to speak of my grandfather and my grandfathers and all that. So seeing success from a public perspective was not new to my family. And I had the perfect mentor in my father to keep me grounded. And he would turn around to me and say, hey, keep your feet on the ground. I've seen kings fall down and they were nothing the next day. I have experienced things like that.
Must be difficult.
Yes, it is.
Because I saw some of your live performances, and those videos of your live performance in London are fantastic. I think there is a documentary made around your live performance.
That's right, yeah.
So it must be difficult. It's so electric to go up there and face the adulation, and then you're on the piano, you're jumping, people are laughing.
Yeah, it is the ultimate.
What was your best ever performance?
It is.
What was your best ever performance?
To be very honest, I hope my best performance is
so
yet to come.
So far.
Well,
tell me the moment. Yeah,
I think
the most frighteningly beautiful moment up on a live stage.
I think it was. In my first performance in Wembley Arena, the first time when I sold it out.
Kab ki baat?
This was in 2003. And that was the first time that I sold out Wembley, and that was a moment which was...
That was after all these songs.
Yeah, and it was a really a defining moment because...
what would you open with?
At that time, I opened with a song of mine from the film Ajnabi, which was called Mehbooba. And then, of course, I would always end it with Lift Kara De. Many times I end my concert with Lift Kara De. It's a perfect finale, that one has. And, but the thing is that dealing with that kind of success, I learned from my father, because my father would always keep me...
Kaisa laga pehli baar when you went into that whole packed Wembley auditorium?
Amazing.
What happens? Tell me. Tell ordinary mortals like us what you go through when you walk into that.
The touring aspect of is extremely hectic. You're tired as anything. And then you're behind the stage and you're in your green room, and suddenly you hear this roar. And before that you're like this because you're tired. And suddenly you hear the roar and your adrenaline suddenly brings out this person inside you, and you are like a live wire. And it just energizes you. And then there are moments when you come off stage and suddenly you collapse because
It's that moment.
but that moment is when just before you're about to go on stage, and when you go on stage and you hear that roar, it's an experience that is unlike any other.
Imagine that roar and open your performance. Imagine this is Wembley. Adnan. Imagine this is Wembley.
What would you like to hear?
Whatever. Imagine everyone's watching you here today. Look at that camera, Adnan. There is one person watching you multiplied into so many people out.
Okay.
And they want to hear you. Go for it.
कभी तो नजर मिलाओ, कभी तो करीब आओ, कभी तो नजर मिलाओ, कभी तो करीब आओ, जो नहीं कहा है कभी तो समझ भी जाओ, हम भी तो हैं तुम्हारे दीवाने हो दीवाने, हम भी तो हैं तुम्हारे दीवाने हो दीवाने.
You know all the lyrics by heart.
Yeah, most of them. Most of them. I mean, there are times when I need to sort of.
You're a live performer.
Yes, that is something that
You're a live performer.
Yeah.
Which is not the case. Everybody started singing now. कुछ politically incorrect goals. अच्छा मुझे I'll tell you, you take me into a studio, I'll also be able to start singing.
Oh yeah, well then good.
Yeah, but you'll have to change the voice. सब कुछ तो, but tell me the truth. Everybody can sing now. Am I wrong?
Well, you know, technology has definitely made it very easy for a lot of people to sing.
Huh?
Technology has definitely made a lot of people, you know, I mean, has made it very easy for a lot of people to sing. But yeah, I am a complete live person in the sense that when I go on stage, my performances are 100% live, and I think that is very important for me as an artist because. I like to improvise a lot. My musical background is that of classical music, be it Indian classical music,
Sufi,
and as well as Sufi and Western classical music. And so therefore, especially the Indian classical music side is a lot to do with improvisation. Dil keh raha hai dil se, वादा करो दिल से, चाहे तुम जहाँ भी जाना जानम, मेरी याद रखना, मेरी याद रखना.
was this song? Ore Khuda, was it? Ore Khuda.
Ah, Noore Khuda.
Noore Khuda.
Noore Khuda.
Tu jahan jahan. What was it? No. Yeah. So
yeah,
that is the song. That is one of my personal favorites.
Okay. That's a lovely.
That is one of my personal favorites.
That,
I think the way you.
Thank you.
You know, it's so soulful. I really want you to share that. Because you mentioned Sufi. That's Sufi.
Yeah, it's a very spiritual.
So you mentioned about different ways in which you approach the Almighty, reach out to the Almighty.
Yes. That is a song very close to my heart.
बारे में ज़रा बताइए.
In fact, that song was composed by Shankar Ehsaan Loy, and it was for the film My Name Is Khan.
It was for the Shah Rukh film.
Yes. And it's a very memorable song.
Amazing.
And it's very close to my heart, you know. And
why?
Because I am able to connect to it on multiple levels, you know. I mean, this particular song is about a person who has reached a kind of a dead end in life, and he's searching for God. He's searching for God to help him. And that's why he says, Noore Khuda, tu kahan chupa hai, hame ye to bata. Noore Khuda, यूं ना हमसे नजरें फेरा, Noore Khuda. So it's about a person searching for God. And there are many times when we reach these crossroads in our life and we're looking for that little nudge from the Almighty to put us in the right direction.
So
and this song comes very close to my heart.
2011?
Yes, I think it was, I think it was earlier than that. I think around 2010 maybe.
What are the tough moments in your life?
Yes.
Very tough people.
Very
What was
tough.
going on in your life?
Well, you know, in 2000...
Whatever you can share.
Yeah, I mean...
Personally also.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that my father had passed away in 2009.
Yes.
You know, Arnab, it's very strange. Like I mentioned, my father was very, very close to me on many levels. He didn't have, as you know, he didn't have anything to do with music. But he was a great lover of music and the arts. And so you know, I suddenly came out of nowhere and decided to pursue a profession or a hobby or whatever you want to call it, which was not something that anybody in our family had ever done. But he chose to encourage me, and he mentored me throughout it because he loved music, and I was so close to him that I spent an entire lifetime fearing that one day he's going to go. What am I going to do then? And then in 2009, I finally had to confront that inevitability. And it was frightening. And it took me a while to get a grip of myself. Because the thing that I feared all my life had happened. And there was turmoil in my life with my father. And exactly at the same time, I was going through a divorce. My previous wife. And it was an unfortunate situation that both had decided to happen at the same time. And it was a very difficult moment for me. My father was dying from pancreas, cancer of the pancreas. And he was in Mumbai, and I didn't have the heart to tell him that I'm also being dragged into court at that same time. So there were times when my father would look at me early in the morning, he would see that I'm suited and booted, and he would turn around to me and say, "Bache, kahan ja rahe?" And I would just say to him, I'd say, "Babs, I'm just going for a function." "Ah, okay, go. I didn't have the heart to tell him that I'm going to court because I knew that it would hurt him. And I didn't want him to feel the turmoil that I was going through because he himself was in so much pain. And it was very difficult for me. But as my father said, you know, the best thing about time is that it never stops. It moves on. And he said that if the good times didn't last, the bad times won't either. And here we are today.
That was when this was all happening. Were you able to face an audience? You know, does it affect you? You know, Adnan, I want people to know you. Does it affect you? You just spoke about that, you know, electric rush, that adrenaline. Imagine that you have to do that. Would you be able to do it if you were to be facing a personal crisis with your father, a personal crisis in your marriage? If you're down in the dumps, would you be able to face that? And when people then tell you, and everybody tells you to sing Lift Kara De.
That is difficult.
Huh?
I mean, yes.
Have you done that?
Yes, I have.
Tell me about it.
There have been, I think my biggest savior was music, because it was so therapeutic for me at that time that when I would go on stage for those 2 hours or hour and a half or not, whatever, I was given a window where I was able to walk into a world of fantasy and forget about everything. And all that was inside me, that was boiling inside me, I would take it out on stage. And I would take out all my whatever, if it was anger, if it was frustration, I would take it out on the piano. I would take it out. I mean, there were times when I would. Yes. And I mean, I'm very emotional about my music.
Which song was your release? Everyone has a song.
Yeah, I think
everyone has a song.
I think the
even
song,
you must have.
yes, the song that even today sort of moves me, because it always reminds me about my father. There are times when I even break down in tears on stage in front of thousands of people. Is a song which I wrote with another mindset, but today when I sing it, I sing it with my father in my heart, and that is a song of mine called Meri Yaad Rakhna, and it goes something like this. दिल कह रहा है दिल से वादा करो दिल से चाहे तुम जहाँ भी जाना जानम मेरी याद रखना मेरी याद रखना दिल कह रहा है दिल से वादा करो दिल से चाहे तुम जहाँ भी जाना जानम मेरी याद रखना मेरी याद रखना जल्दी से लौट आना तुम मुझसे दूर जाके फिर ना सताना बातें बना के ये कसम टूटे ना साथ ये छूटे ना जाने जा मेरी याद रखना मेरी याद रखना मेरी याद रखना.
Fantastic.
That's for him.
Kept you going.
Yeah, that kept me going. Keeps me going even today. Whenever I feel that I'm missing him a bit too much, think about him. Sing the song.
Therapy.
Yeah.
Of a different kind.
Yes. And on a lighter note, it saves you thousands in psychoanalysis.
Psychoanalysis. You don't need psychoanalysis. You don't need psychoanalysis. You're an evolved guy. So, no, I'm so happy to see you happy today. And I think over the last 8-9 years, you've been through tons.
Yeah.
And I think you've given joy to so many people. And you have a genuine voice. There's something about it.
Thank you.
This can carry on, you know. And it'll go to a point where I'll start joining you.
Oh yeah.
And people
bring it on, baby.
Kabhi nahi. Only under the shower. Under the
Kabhi
shower.
nahi, kabhi nahi, kabhi nahi.
Oh yeah. So 2 of your favorite songs, okay? 2 out of which one has to be Bhigi Bhigi Raaton Mein.
Okay.
And I'm giving you a choice in the others. It can be Kabhi Nahi, it can be Dil Keh Raha Hai, Dil Se, which is another of my favorites. Kabhi To Nazar Milao,
Yeah.
which you've
Yeah.
sung. Tere Bina.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm giving you a lot of
All right,
my
okay,
favorites.
चैन मुझे अब आए ना, तेरे बिना जिया जाए ना, चैन मुझे अब आए ना, तेरे बिना जिया जाए ना, सिली सिली सादी रहना, आके भिगा दे नैना, चैन मुझे अब आए ना, तेरे बिना जिया जाए ना.
Very nice. Last one.
Okay. भीगी भीगी रातों में फिर तुम आओ ना, हो भीगी भीगी रातों में
Wow, wow.
फिर तुम आओ ना, ऐसी बरसातों में आओ ना,
Oh, wonderful.
ऐसी बरसातों में आओ ना.
Oh God, the shower singer in me is coming alive.
Bring it on.
Adnan, fantastic. We love you.
I love you more.
And more happiness to you. And come to our studio sometimes.
Will
Spend
do.
time with us.
I'd love to.
And बहुतों का lift करा दो.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Adnan. Thank you for joining me on this chat.
Pleasure.
Thank you.